Good time for Jason Tatum to figure out that they got to have some pride when they're facing elimination down 3-0. Okay, have some pride.
What's the point? We don't like our coach. I'm getting paid $38 million a year, but I need someone to say boxing one.
Can it be both, though, Curtis?
Of course it can.
Yeah,
and
so that's what everyone's saying.
I agree with Wiggy on Missoula. The guy is a total moron.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be within 50 feet of the job.
But I know from playing, I played differently for Parcells and Belichick than I did for Brad Childress.
Okay.
Because I thought Brad Childress was an idiot.
People who are great at whatever they do overcome obstacles. Sorry. People, they don't point the finger.
So who are these great people?
Great people in life overcome obstacles. I don't know. I don't know.
Tom Brady won with Bruce Arians.
He's trying to get at that people are much different than athletes.
No, I'm trying to get at in sports or elsewhere that when you face an obstacle, you overcome it. If that obstacle is Joe Mazzulla and you're Jason Tatum, you overcome it.
It's not easy to overcome.
If that obstacle is fatigue, you overcome it. You don't point your finger every time at something else as a reason why you failed.
But it's not easy to overcome. Jordan could not overcome his coach 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. Boom, Phil Jackson come in, and now Jordan then is changed as a player. So it's about the coach that you look at. It's the coach that you have, and can he unlock that potential?
So why is the coach paid about 20 times less than the star player?
That's just the way it works in all sports, except for
valuable,
Belichick.
If they're equally valuable, no, it's not all sports. NFL coaches are paid far more than NBA coaches.
But they're not paid as more as the superstars.
I mean, Sean Payton's making what, $15 million a year?
And Aaron Donald makes about $25 million a year.
Well, that's far closer than 38 to $2 million.
Right, but in the world of sports, the majority of coaches don't make nearly what the superstars make. It's always been that way.
But didn't Tatum work with Mazzulla last year?
It's different to work with somebody as an assistant coach and somebody who kind of helps you do some drills and get that thing than it is to now that guy becomes the head coach.
But it's to the point where he's forgotten any basketball. Like last year, he was giving Tatum good advice, and this year he's not.
Well, no, I'm not. His role has changed. It's one thing to give a guy.
He's the same person.
I don't think he was giving Tatum any advice, and now that he's trying, Tatum's like, "What are we talking about? You're the same guy that was, a scrub on the staff last year." That's the issue.
But the locker room was a happy place at halftime. That was the report. That's what Joe Mazzulla said. Everybody was happy at halftime.
Hey, guys, I talked to Coach Mazzulla. I said, how was that locker room? He said it was really positive. As a matter of fact, Grant Williams came running out, fired up. Marcus Smart had a big smile across his face. Coach said they focused on two things, limiting the Heat threes. They have 9 made threes. And he said also limiting them in transition. They know that if they can get stops and get rebounds, they can run because they do not like how their offense has looked against the Miami zone. They feel like it slowed them down in game 2, and they're trying to avoid that by not letting them set up at all.
Okay, explain that to me, Wiggy. Why are they happy?
Because I don't believe they're happy one bit. I don't. Do you believe Joe Mazzulla? When he tells who was that?
Allie LaForce.
When he tells her that, do you really believe that they were happy in that locker room, or was it more they were probably f-bombing the ish out of each other?
No, I think they were happy because they don't care.
No, you can tell. You can tell
they're already done, Wiggy. They quit. You think they want to come back here and lose at home? They're done.
No,
they don't care.
But I think there was. I bet people were in that locker room. No one was talking to each other. There was you could see it on the sidelines. You could see their lack of interest amongst each other. And
I get it. None of them like each other. Apparently, I mean, is that where you're going?
Well, I'm saying they don't like the way they are intertwined when it comes to the basketball. They might like each other personally.
Listen, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not talking about personally. I'm just talking about workplace.
Yeah,
it seems like it's a miserable place, and it's not Joe Mazzulla that's making it that way.
Right.
It's the guys that are on that team. It's why probably when you think about it, Peyton Pritchard, who should be a guy who's delighted to be here, making what's he making? $4 million
this year.
$4 million a year.
Well, lowest paid guy in Echelon.
That's probably why he said he wants out of here.
Right.
Because it's miserable to be around these guys.
Of course it's miserable. If you're Jason Tatum and you're sitting in the locker room and Marcus Smart is, standing on a table screaming at everybody and telling everybody to let's go,
right?
That's an issue.
And I will agree with Wiggy in this respect.
Is that a hostile work environment?
Oh, well, Ken, we're meeting with Ken after the show.
That's probably what it is. Somebody who actually wants to win and be successful is now considered somebody who creates a hostile work environment.
Starts at the top and started last season.
But do you think it's I want to win, or it's more of look at me? We're having a peeing contest.
Say what you want about Marcus Smart, and
here we go. Here we go.
What?
Go ahead.
He's the only guy who appears to me to when it comes to I'll depending on who's starting.
Mm-hmm.
Al Horford puts the best effort in that he can. I got zero issue with him.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Williams, same thing. And Marcus Smart, like, he appears to want to win.
Okay, can I ask a question then?
Yes.
If he wants to win, why isn't he willing to buy into his role?
Because I think he's trying to fill a void. Because the other
What's the void?
The void is the other two don't show up.
No, the
two J's, you can't count on
the
them.
void is play defense. Weren't you
None of
walking around with a DYOP robe on,
yes,
all iced out, talking about how you're the defensive player of the year? Who's getting buckets? Jimmy Butler, Gabe Vincent. Well, your role should be, all right, I'm locking him down. I want him.
Yeah, and Wiggy, I will give you credit on that, and that the Celtics management team, beginning with Wick, including Brad, created the Marcus Smart monster.
I said it.
And that is true. And so if you're Tatum, you're like, well, I'm going up against Smart and the management of this organization if I stand up to this guy right now. And so that is a part of the story. But the number one story to me is the best player, once again, didn't show up in the biggest game of the year.
No, and I do agree with Gary Washburn that when it comes to Jaylen Brown, when he finally speaks, it's going to be interesting, like train wreck, car wreck, interesting to hear what he has to say.
Yeah,
because he's miserable.
And he's such a goner, and it's such a shame.
So he's miserable, right? So that everybody's miserable in some way in that locker room.
But you overcome that. That's what I'm saying.
But how do you overcome that? If you go to work every day and you're miserable,
you don't get all up in your feels.
Stop it, Greg. Would you stop with that old school mentality?
I know it's
of
old school.
Like people going to work. Hey, I'm miserable, but you know what? I got to go to work every day. Somebody's got to be able to support the family.
I know, it's an awful thing.
No,
it's hard to feel bad for them when they're raking in millions of dollars.
It's an awful thing.
Down that road.
I'm just saying.
Listen.
I think for the vast majority of people, it's like, okay, stop crying about this. Go win a title. You guys are all making millions of dollars and saying you're the best player in the world.
Stop complaining about every single possession that you have. You're trying to get a call.
Now that thing, I mean, it's gone overboard.
Okay, you agree. You and I, yes, Wiggy, we finally agree. Every single time.
That is pathetic. It's every time.
It's pathetic. It's embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's
is
gross.
But I do agree with Charles that the refs don't give Tatum the same call.
We all agree. Okay. But don't you think, Wiggy, will you at least say that that's emblematic of things that they care about that are personal, not team-oriented? It's all about how they're being treated individually by the refs, not about the team.
Yeah, but I've always said that nowadays, today's athlete, it is,
But you would think
it's
at
a
this
little
point,
bit more. We see it's more about them because of social media. I'm going to bet you if we had social media in the 80s, that we would see the same things from the players that we loved, like Bird and
Was there social
Magic.
media last year when Steph Curry took it to the Celtics?
What do you mean?
I don't know what I just said that was hard.
Yeah, I know. What is that related to?
Because it was a team. I think the Heat are a team that have congealed.
Yeah.
They're a cohesive unit. They remind me, they haven't won, so they're not them yet, but they remind me of your Patriots.
But why is that? Because they don't have superstars that people have told them have been superstars. Jimmy Buckets is a guy, if you ever see his story, comes from nothing. No one gave him an opportunity.
Really cool story.
Always played with a chip on his shoulder. He would never make it. And then, Courtney, you brought this up. 4 undrafted guys. So those guys all look at it like we come from nothing. Tatum, number 3 overall pick. Brown, number 3 overall pick. Marcus Smart, maybe 6th or 7th overall pick.
Yeah.
Al Horford, same thing.
Yeah.
You have a different mentality when you are. So you need
the mentality.
You need a guy that can handle that.
The mentality is that people in AAU told you your whole life that you were the best player in the world, that you were going to be the best player in the world, so you don't have to put the effort in to be the best player in the world.
Shouldn't they be more embarrassed, though? Don't you think Jason Tatum leaves yesterday and goes back to the hotel?
Does he sound like somebody who's
he doesn't,
embarrassed?
But he should.
Did he look on the bench in the fourth quarter like somebody who's embarrassed?
No.
I would have kept him in there for the entire fourth quarter so they could really feel the embarrassment of the entire nation on them.
Far be it from me to be the one praising Bill Belichick, but do you remember in the 2004 preseason, after they had won their second Super Bowl in 3 years, they were playing the Bengals in a preseason game, and they played like crap in the first half, and Belichick put the ones back in a preseason game, so he had Brewski and Law in the preseason second half. Like, that's how you do this, but unfortunately...
But that was in 2004, though.
That's a while ago, you're right.
We know now, Bill tried to say something to Jack Jones, and Jack Jones was stood up and, wait a second, who the hell are you talking to? We know that the way you can't, Greg, and that's the thing. The AAU mentality. Well, then you need a coach that can coach the AAU mentality.
Yeah, Joe Mazzulla should have said, "You said you're the best player in the world. All right, you're staying in the game."
Right, but you need you need a coach that can coach that mentality.
So then that's what we're saying, though. It has to go back to the coach a little bit.
That's what I've said. It stops from the top down. Brad Stevens gotta go, because if he's allowing these players, because he keeps re-signing them and giving contracts, if he knows the Jays can't play together, then guess what? You got to ship them out. Mm-hmm. You got to ship one out and then say, you know what? The hell with it. We'll roll the dice with Kevin Durant.
I don't know,
because it doesn't work with what we got.
If they get bounced, which they're going to, I mean, nobody in the NBA has ever come back being down 3-0, so it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
They got big decisions to make. And it starts with the two of those guys. That's where it starts. I mean, Joe Mazzulla's done.
Right.
So if they don't win, Joe Mazzulla's gone.
Yes.
Can we?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Is that at least going to happen?
Yep.
And as I said,
Please.
Joe Mazzulla will never coach another NBA game once he's fired.
And then it comes down to, which guy do we want to give a max contract to?
Because you can't do both now.
I think
they don't like each other.
But I think
is that why you're? I mean, I wouldn't want the future of this team on the two of them.
Yeah, I don't think they work well together, so I'm picking one and moving on from the other. Because even though they're talented players, it just don't work together. And we've seen that plenty of times with talented players that for whatever the basketball synergy just doesn't work. Yeah. So I would say I need to have one guy and then figure out the guy he can play with. And then it becomes, who's that guy you want? I know for me it's Tatum.
And you would want Kevin Durant with him.
At this point, I'll take Trae Young. Like, if you want to ship Jalen to Atlanta, I'm all for, like, my lead blowing the whole thing up and saying, all right, you want to put Trae Young? I'll put anybody with Tatum to see if it changes.
Do you keep
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Did you, when you were playing for the Patriots, did you want quitters on your team?
When I was playing for the Patriots, no. I mean, no.
Do you want two quitters going forward for this franchise?
What do you mean two quitters going forward?
Two quitters. They're quitters. Everybody. Barkley said it. Van Gundy said it. Everybody said it. They're quitters. They quit on this series.
So you're saying
Do you get that?
Ship both Jays out.
Do you want quitters on your basketball team?
But see, I don't think they quit, which is...
You don't think they quit?
No, I think they were getting their head stomped in and basically...
They quit.
And basically, they got their head stomped in and they were like, you know, it is what it is, man.
That's quitting, though.
Well, Mazzulla took him out of the game. And that was it.
Now Mazzulla's in charge. I'm trying to keep track.
Yeah.
No, he took... but
why doesn't Jason Tatum do what Marcus Smart does
So
and,
then
say you're not taking me out of this basketball?
You do a lot, so then what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
When it comes to them?
Yeah.
I think I get rid of both of them. Start all over again.
Then there you go. That's you.
Starting from the bottom, now we're here.
Get what you can. Get max value for both of them and start all over again.
Oh, and who would you bring in?
Jimmy Butler.
I thought you were going to say Larry Bird.
All right, we got to take a break.
The same guy who quit on the Sixers.
Coming up, though, he played for the Sixers for one season.
And he played it for the Timberwolves. He quit on them.
Okay, he looks pretty good now, though,
Oh, he
doesn't
does.
Yeah,
Don't
he
quit
does.
on the
He's got the right coach.
Wait, has he got the Mamba mentality?
No, he's got the right coach.
Okay. All right. Is Jason Tatum going to keep...
And he's got no other...
Is he going to keep signing stuff with the Mamba mentality? Because I don't think he has it
And
quite
you know
yet.
what else he has?
What?
He don't have no other big dog breathing down his neck.
Oh, okay. Who's breathing down the Tatum's neck?
Well, I think it's really him and Brown.
Okay.
Right? And we know there's friction there.
Yeah.
It's one thing when you're the best player and there's everybody else knows, like, hey, we'll go to the other side of the court.
Yeah.
But when you're the best player and there's another guy who thinks that he's on your level, and then there becomes all this communication problems.
In the Twitch chat this morning, Who Show Enough says, I sound like an idiot. That is my role here. I am here to be an idiot.
And you're paid handsomely for
Thank
it.
you. Coming up next, I know my role. Sound like an idiot.